In this lesson, we're going to look at how do we solve linear equations. So I'm going to start with just an equation here. 4/5 x plus 8 equals 20. And let's just take a second to point out what makes this an equation. Well, that would be this equal sign. Okay, otherwise it's just an expression. So I know that these two things are equal to each other. Now how am I going to solve for x? Well, the very first thing I want to do is try to isolate this variable. So right now I have a plus 8 hanging out to the side. I'm going to subtract 8 from each side. Now I have 4/5 x equals 12. 4/5 x is really just saying you're multiplying by 4 and dividing by 5. So to get rid of that 4/5, you can multiply by the reciprocal. A reciprocal is just an expression related to another, so related to another that their product is 1. So what I mean by that is 4/5 times 5/4 is 1, because the 5 divides the 5 and the 4 divides the 4. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 5/4. Now x equals, we can just do 12 times 5 is 60, divided by 4 is 15. If we want to check our work, we just plug it right back into the original. 4/5 times 15 plus 8 equals 20. 4 times 15 is 60, divided by 5 is 12, and 12 plus 8 equals 20. In this next example, we have two variables, but they're both on the same side. So the very first step here is we need to distribute this 4 into the parentheses. So the 4 is going to multiply the x and the -3. So we have 4x minus 12 plus 2x equals 36. Alright, once we've distributed, we can combine like terms. And combining like terms just is simply taking all these x's that are on the same side of the equal sign and combining them. We have a positive 4 and a positive 2, so now we have 6x minus 12 equals 36. Now we're going through the same steps. I need to isolate the variable by adding 12 to both sides. So 6x equals 48. And now that it's being multiplied by 6, the opposite would be dividing by 6. And so 48 divided by 6 gives us x equals 8. And again, we can check our solution. 4 times 8 minus 3 plus 2 times 8 equals 36. So that's 4 times 5 plus 16 equals 36. 20 plus 16 is, yes, 36. Well, now what if I'm trying to solve an equation with variables on both sides of the equation? Well, this isn't too tough. Again, we're going to have to start off with the distributive property. All right, distribute this 2 into that parentheses and this 5 into here. Distributing is just multiplication, so we have 5 plus 2x plus 8 equals 5x minus 15 plus 10. And just like last time, we're going to combine like terms. Over here on the left side, my like terms are 5 and 8. So I have 2x plus 13 equals, my like terms on this side are the negative 15 and the 10. So we have 5x minus 5. Now I want to get my constants. My constants are just the numbers without a variable. I want to get constants on one side and variables on the other. And the biggest help here is to always move the smaller variable. So that can be tricky with negative numbers sometimes, but here the 2x is smaller, so I'm going to move the smaller variable. Okay, and that'll eliminate it from the left. And I want to get my constants on the other side, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So here these eliminated, and so did these. So we have 18 is equal to 3x. And then dividing by 3 gives me x equals 6. And then you can, of course, just go back and plug that in to see if that worked again. All right, sometimes we run into special cases whenever we have variables on both sides of the equation. So let's just look at both of these. In this first problem on the left, I'm going to have to start with the distributive property. Distribute this 6 in, so we have 24, because 6 times 4 is 24, plus 6y minus 3 equals 6y minus 12. I combine like terms, so the 24 and the negative 3 combine. I'm going to list my variable first, so 6y plus 21 equals 6y minus 12. Now, here, I wanted to get my constants on one side and the variables on the other. But look what's going to happen. If I try to get my variables on one side, they cancel each other out, and we have 21 is equal to negative 12. And we ask ourselves, is 21 equal to negative 12? No, it's not. So if you end up with a constant equal to a different constant, then there's no number that you can plug in for y to make this statement true. This is never going to be true. So here we say that this is no solution. And we can symbolize that with this symbol, the empty set. All right, now in the other situation here, we have distributive property here. 3 times a and 3 times 1 will give me 3a plus 3 minus 5 is equal to, let's combine like terms on the other side. 5a minus 2a gives me 3a minus 2. Now, on the left, I'm going to combine like terms again. Well, 3 minus 5 is negative 2. So I have 3a minus 2 equals 3a minus 2. Now, I could go further here. I could add 2 to both sides, or I could subtract the 3a's, and they'll eliminate. But anytime that we have the exact same thing equal to itself, then it doesn't matter what I plug in for a, I'm always going to get this side is equal to this side, no matter what. There's not just one answer. There's an infinite amount of answers. And we call that, the solution is all real numbers. And the symbol for all real numbers is an R with like 2 backs on it. And those are my special cases. All right, the last case that we're going to look at today is equations with fractions. So here I have an equation, 1/8 x plus 1/6 x is equal to 7. To make this easier on myself, I need to try to make these fractions go away. And if we remember, we have to multiply both sides by the LCD, the least common denominator. All right, so what is the least common denominator for 8 and 6? What's the first number that both 8 and 6 multiply into? Well, that would be 24. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 24. And watch how that helps me. Whenever I multiply this 24 times 1/8, well, that's the same thing as just 24 divided by 8. Okay, so 24 divided by 8 is 3. So I have 3x. And 24 divided by 6 is the same thing as 24 times 1/6. So 24 divided by 6 is 4x. And then 7 times 24, well, you might have to calculate that. That's 168. So now I combine like terms. 3x plus 4x is 7x equals 168. And look, we just saw that 7 times 24 is 168. So 168 divided by 7, well, that's just going to give us back that 24. And that's solving equations with fractions. And that's all for this lesson.